Hey, Internet, it's Paul. It's Matt, the Dork Lords. Today, we're talking about the 5th and 6th episodes of Murderbot on Apple TV. The episode's entitled Rogue War Tracker Infinite and Command Feed. We open episode 5, where episode 4 ended. Murderbot has just shot itself to prevent it from going under enemy control, killing the Preservation Alliance team. The team rescues a Dealt Fall survivor, in quotes, named Labibi. We end episode 6 with the shocking reveal that Labibi is in fact not a Dealt Fall survivor, but a spy working for the mysterious third party. She holds Garathan hostage, but Murderbot gruesomely blows her head off. The team is saved, but they're horrified by the violent death they just witnessed, and Murderbot mentions that it liked the feeling it got when it killed Labibi. All that said, Paul...
Matt?
What'd you think of episodes 5 and 6 of Murderbot?
So, I wasn't in love with them.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this is definitely an instance, at least starting to get to the point where my knowledge of the books, and it's not that extensive actually. There are times when I'm sort of like, well, maybe they did this in a different book in a slightly different way.
Oh, I got you. Right. You're
me.
Questioning yourself, like maybe it is in somewhere. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's just it's like the way they're doing
a
it.
Variation.
Yeah. And so the tone, as I mentioned to you, they really want to maintain a certain dramatic potential that Murderbot could actually hurt all of them. The fact that I was in Murderbot's head when I was listening to the audiobooks,
okay,
it's like the times when it would suggest that it could do that, I was never convinced that it was going to do any of that. And so, it seems like they want to, the makers of the show want to, have points where you might be like, oh, maybe he could.
I totally agree. Now, and I'm coming at it from someone who hasn't read the books. The show certainly keeps hinting at a will it or won't it plot line. Will Murderbot assume its namesake and murder everyone? Which it could easily do if it chose to.
Yes.
It even mentions... in these two episodes, in episode 5, it mentions how it could slaughter everyone. And we see yet another fleeting flashback of Murderbot, I assume, murdering folks in the past. But that's not this show. This show isn't Terminator. It's not, oh my God, we made machines self-aware and now we're all going to die show. It's not that show. Murderbot is never going to slaughter the Preservation Alliance team. So I kind of want him to get past that. The end of episode 6, I mentioned, it has the, I like killing. It's it likes the feeling of killing.
A way that I can sort of imagine that that's the way they're going is, certainly in the books, there were people that were trying to hurt the people he had to take care of, and when he had to kill those people...
It liked the feeling of killing those people.
Yes.
The enemies.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, So maybe that's probably what they're trying to establish, I would imagine.
It's just that constant return to the fact that Murderbot might be a threat to the team.
Yeah.
I think there is a 0% chance of that happening.
Yeah.
Now, if Murderbot kills everyone in episode 10, I'll be
like, wow, that's really different in the book.
And embarrassed.
Wow.
It's just there's no real tension there because it's like it's not going to happen. It's that this show isn't going to do that. There was something to be gained probably from the team suspecting that Murderbot might do that. Like how they interact with Murderbot under that assumption. But it seems like the show is more leaning on the idea of like Murderbot it's rogue, it could do it. Like it's not. Well, I feel confident in saying it's not going to do that. And if that's the case, then stop pretending it will.
Yeah. Anna Kunkel, who plays Labibi, perfectly fine in her role, even though that role is nowhere in the books.
Okay, so that's not a book thing.
And so, all this it's like far more than in the books. You have somebody musing on having sex with Murderbot, and I don't think of myself as a prude or anything. It's just that's not the books.
I assume. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, first of all, it's like it's done for comedic.
Yes.
Relief. So that's fine. But I also feel like it was maybe their one attempt to misdirect that she's a spy with this like comedic obsession with turning Murderbot into a sex bot.
And that's funny that you said sex bot, because in the books they're not called sex bots colloquially. They're called comfort units. Comfort units, because he's a security unit, so comfort unit. But Murderbot calls them sex bots.
Oh, okay.
Because he doesn't have any respect for them.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they didn't do that. You could have done that, and so.
I was really hoping though that Labibi wouldn't betray the team until episode 7. Because I wanted to come in here, I wanted to mat Labibi and be like, she's a spy, not going to survive the next episode.
Yeah.
The downside to doing 2 episodes at once, I guess. But I was like, oh, come on, hang on, Labibi. I want to be right at saying that you are totally done.
I could totally betray you here. Like, oh, Matt, come on, you were surprised. You didn't think you trusted Labibi.
Yeah, when you and I spoke after episode 5, I was like, oh, Labibi, thank goodness they rescued her. Wow, that was really close for her. She's going to be a really good member of the team going forward. So her espionage interest seemed to be getting access to the hub system and the results of the team's surveying. So it seems like this third party perhaps doesn't have the ability to do the surveying that maybe it's because they're trying to stay secret. They just can't openly survey, so they're going to try to just cheat by taking the people that could do it openly. But I was trying to think what is her goal, and I guess it's just to get their research.
It could be that they're just concerned that if they found something out, that they may have communicated to people outside or whatever.
Okay. Good point. Like, we found that really valuable thing that's obviously this third party's interested in.
Could be that, or could be just making sure that they haven't found that thing and they have it somewhere and they just aren't communicating that. Making sure that they don't.
Because it was Rathi back in the day. I forget which episode it was, 2 or 3. I think he postulated that maybe there was alien tech, that it was hidden under underground or something. So maybe it's as opposed to a mineral. Maybe there's actual tech to be found, but. You would probably know that, so I'll just leave that be. So she was spying, tried to hold Garathan hostage, and didn't count on the fact that the Murderbot might just. What was it? Garathan was like, "You could have killed me."
Yes.
It's like, yes, that was a possibility, but everything's fine now. That was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
These episodes really seem to focus on the relationship between Murderbot and Mensah. I think she now has less fear around Murderbot and treats Murderbot more like
a person.
A person. In fact, Garathan's attempt to turn the crew against Murderbot only made them like Murderbot more. He reveals that Murderbot's gone rogue and has free will, has had free will the entire time.
Right.
And if we remember back in episode 1, Mensah told the corporation, they saw sec units as slaves and weren't comfortable with that arrangement. Well, it turns out Murderbot's not a slave. Yeah. So it actually was like, oh, really? Oh, look at that. It chose to
do its job.
Help us out.
Yes.
Sacrifice itself for us. Oh, that's even better. She ultimately bargains then with Murderbot to say, okay, if Murderbot helps them escape this mysterious enemy, she will let it choose where it wants to go, and she will not reveal its hack to the corporation.
Yes.
That's her deal, which is a pretty good deal.
Sure.
That arc definitely progressed over these 2 episodes. The arc that I hoped would be progressing by now and is not is the Garathan Murderbot angle. It's like Garathan was a very promising character in the beginning, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I saw some really good potential drama between those two. A chance for them to explore their similarities or differences. 6 episodes in, Garathan just comes off as relentlessly one-note, grumpy, sad, outlier crewman.
Yeah, and I think it's an example of how they just don't develop much of a relationship, really. You would think actually they have similar things in common.
Yep.
Because it seemed as if they're trying to make a contrast between Garathan, who is partially artificial,
correct,
and Murderbot, and
they have different thresholds of that, but obviously that outsider complex. There's a lot of things you could play on, and they demonstrate enough that I could see it on the screen, but I was hoping there'd be more interaction between
much
them.
More interested in Garathan's feelings towards Mensah.
Yeah, so I just feel like if Garathan stays at the kind of one-note plateau through episode 8, so the next time we talk, I'll feel like the show missed the mark with him. Now maybe they got 4 episodes, so maybe they can have a turn here. I just kind of okay, we get it. He's we're doing it all wrong. Okay, all right. They had the bit there, the one little bit of tension, I suppose, between Murderbot and Garathan when Murderbot grabs to choke Garathan.
Yes.
And the team really doesn't. Mensah's like, okay, well, anyway, stop. Good. Okay, anyway, well, you're still on the team. And Garathan is hoping that that's going to be some kind of a see,
when
Murderbot.
They're alone, she later brings it up though, like, please promise not to.
Right. Or she doesn't say. It's interesting because she doesn't say, don't kill him.
She says.
She says like, just protect him like you'd protect us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That means don't kill them.
Well, it was a weird way of saying it. Like if she was really in other words, what I got out of that is she's not concerned that Murderbot is just gonna one day decide to shoot Garathan in the head. It's just that he might be like, well, if I have a choice, maybe I'll just save the others and let you fare for yourself, which is still bad, but it's not the same as she's really worried that at any moment Murderbot could just go.
Oh, sure. Yes. That distinction I agree with. I'm just saying that.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
If you protect him like everybody else, then you want him not to be killed.
Yep. And he kind of does at the end, or Murderbot does the thing as Murderbot mentions. It was possible that it could have missed. I also did like that Murderbot erased the safety manuals to make room for more Sanctuary Moon episodes, and then uses a specific episode to help Mensah calm her breathing. That was a kind of a fun touch. It was another way in which Garathan was trying to sabotage Murderbot in terms of his reputation with the crew. Garathan brought in Bharadwaj to double check his work, and so she says to wait, tell him what what Murderbot did with the memories. Like, yeah, and he downloaded a bunch of some show called Sanctuary Moon, and everything. The rest of the crew's like, wait, you don't know Sanctuary Moon? And it became yet another way to alienate Garathan. Yes. Like they test Murderbot with like a really deep cut, and it knows. They're like, oh wow, he really knows the show. Wow, that's awesome. So in that way, I guess having Garathan be the punching bag works occasionally, but yeah, I think I'd like to see some growth there for Garathan. Anyway, we've reached a point where they realize that this enemy group is on its way, and they have a very limited amount of time to escape, but they can't use the beacon because the beacon was sabotaged. So they can't really get off the planet very easily right now. I think they can just use the hopper to move around. So they're going to try to, basically leave camp, and that's where they're desperately trying to get on the ship.
Sure. I'm not crazy about the Rothi stuff either. When he was talking to Arata and Pinley specifically about, what about children and stuff like that. And
it does feel a little forced in, like the show realizes that at 20 minutes an episode it doesn't really have time to cover that along with the other stuff, and so it just throws in some lines, but it doesn't really take any time to like explore those things. So it just comes off as like, oh, remember they have this like when they all try to massage each other's shoulders. Yeah. It's like, okay, yes, you're right, they're in a relationship. It's not really exploring it, it's just kind of doing a little lip service to it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I'm not in love with that.
Yeah, those arcs really didn't go anywhere. The arc that went somewhere was the relationship between Mensah and Murderbot. I feel like that's the arc that took center stage for these 2 episodes. Let's see what happens in 7 and 8. Maybe we pick a different arc. But
there you go.
All right, so we'll be back talking about 7 and 8. Thank you as always, Paul. Appreciate it, good sir.
Sure, no problem.
And we'll talk to everybody next time. Bye.